We have breaking news. President Biden and Vladimir Putin have agreed in principle to hold a summit on the Ukraine crisis. That's according to a new statement from the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki. Quote, Secretary Blinken and Foreign Minister Lavrov are scheduled to meet later this week in Europe, provided Russia does not proceed with military action. President Biden accepted in principle a meeting with President Putin following that engagement. Again, if an invasion hasn't happened, we're always ready for diplomacy. We are also ready to impose swift and severe consequences should Russia instead choose war. We'll have more on this new development next hour. Moving on, when is mercy appropriate? It's a question that's been top of mind for many in Washington this week as DOJ prosecutors clashed with a federal judge over whether Capitol riot defendants should be awarded shorter sentences after expressing remorse, taking responsibility for their actions, and most importantly, agreeing to aid the January 6th committee investigation. Judge Beryl Howell was rather explicit in her reasoning, arguing that kind of cooperation is helpful to this country and is helpful in making amends for what occurred on January 6th. Eugene Holm, a defense attorney for one of the rioters sentenced on Friday, went further, saying the government's role here is to make sure this kind of thing doesn't ever happen to this country again. It's important to rehabilitate people. It's also important to rehabilitate this country. Now, folks, I'll admit I sympathize with this position. I wholeheartedly believe in second chances. It would be wonderful if we could move forward as people working together, taking responsibility for their actions. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Last year, after expressing remorse, agreeing to cooperate with federal prosecutors, Capitol writer Gina Bizzano signed a plea deal that could ultimately permit her to receive significantly lighter sentences. But as soon as the ink was dry on that plea deal, she changed her tune. Gina bragged to fellow Trump supporters that she only pled guilty to stay out of jail and that she won't be, quote unquote, squealing on anybody. And what kind of message does it send to these rioters who've been told for the last year that what they did was wrong when the Republican National Committee's official position on January 6th is that it was legitimate political discourse? So one side says you did awful things, and the other side says you did nothing wrong. The Republican establishment seems to be openly mocking the entire process and undercutting any rational argument for considering leniency. All of this to say, mercy and forgiveness are virtues, but we must stay clear-eyed in recognizing what we're really up against.